Look in the mirror. You see yourself, right? Or at least you think you do. But what if I told you half the people looking in that glass is not seeing the truth? They're seeing smoke. Smoke don't lie. It just blurs. It hides the real shape of what's behind it. And that's what the world has done to you. It taught you to build your reflection out of illusions. Money, clout, likes, attention. Now you're staring at a foggy version of yourself, of what you used to be. Let's be real now. Most people ain't chasing purpose. They chasing presentation, family. They want to look healed, not be healed. They want to look strong, not be strong. They want to post power, but live powerless. And that's the mirror made of smoke. Pretty, popular, but empty. You can't find yourself through filters. You can't heal in front of audiences. Some battles need silence. Some growth need darkness. But we are so used to performing, shucking and jiving, dancing. We forget to heal. We forget what's real. We forgot how to be real. We became actors in our own stories, playing characters that get applause. Goofy, while the true version of us sit in the back uninvited. I see brothers destroying themselves, trying to impress people that ain't even watching. I've seen queens break their own crown, trying to fit in with peasants, knowing they better than that. Because when your mirror is full of smoke, you start mistaking applause for approval. Both will fade when the lights get cut off. Let me drop a gem on you. The mirror don't lie. You do. When you hide your pain instead of healing it, when you chase perception instead of peace, when you look the part instead of becoming a part, you ever wonder why you're tired for no reason? Because pretending costs energy. Every mask has a weight on it. And some of y'all heavy and don't even know why. I used to think image was everything too. I did. Till I learned something. When the smoke clears and the mirror cracks, and what's left is who you really are. So ask yourself, when the light stops, when the crowd leaves, when it's quiet, who are you then? Who are you? Malcolm X asked, who are you? You don't even know who you are. If your power only works when people watch, you ain't powerful. You're performing. You're a poser. See, real reflection ain't about what you look like. It's about what you face. Can you face trauma without excuse? Can you face the past without shame? Can you face your ego without defense? You feel me? That's what separates leaders from actors. That's what separates growth from glamour. Let me help you understand something. The system trained you to worship image, but image don't fight for you when life swing, when the bills hit, when the betrayal hit, when opportunity fades. That fake mirror shatters, man. And suddenly you faced with the truth you've been avoiding the whole time. But here's the twist. That moment, that breakthrough, that's not the end, baby. That's not it. That's not the end. That's the rebirth, King. That's the rebirth. You got to break the mirror to see yourself clearly sometimes. You got to walk through the smoke in order to breathe. Don't be scared of what you find. It's scary to really see yourself for who you are. The real you is not perfect, but you're powerful. So powerful. She's not polished, but she's pure. That's the difference. That's who the world needs. The unfiltered, unafraid version of you. The truth ain't always pretty, but it's solid. It's real. It's unshakable. And that's what we've been missing. That's exactly what we've been missing. Solidarity. We built our lives on smoke, so we disappear when the pressure comes. But real ones, they built from pain, fueled by purpose, forged in failure. That's so powerful. When life hit, they refocused like a camera, baby. When lies come, they stay rooted. We don't care about that. They don't need the mirrors because they already know who they are. You know it. You know it. Stop letting illusion be your identity, family. Stop letting smoke be your reflection. Knock it off. You're too powerful to be performing for approval. You're too chosen to be chasing validation. You're too gifted to keep dimming yourself down just to keep pawns around you comfortable. They don't have to see you. You got to see you. When the mirror clears, you got to realize something. Every fake friend, every missed opportunity, every loss wasn't a punishment. It was purification. Smoke clears, family. But real gold don't burn. Let it be clear. Let the lies fade. Let the fake reflection crumble. Stand in your rawest form. No filters, no masks, no performance. You'll feel naked, man, but that's true freedom. You'll feel vulnerable, but that's power. That's the real reflection. That's the one that don't need no smoke to shine. Stop chasing the image. Start building essence, because smoke disappears. Truth stays solid. Stay grounded. Stay real. And when the world looks at you, family, make sure they see the real reflection. What happens when an empire runs out of soul before it runs out of money? So you have to understand, every empire in history thought it would last forever. Rome, Egypt, Great Britain, all of them had armies, gold, and pride, but they all forgot the same rule. You can't spin your way out of decay. See, America ain't broke because they don't have money. America broke because we don't have values anymore. We print dollars like confetti, but can't print discipline. We build rockets to Mars, but can't build trust in our own neighborhoods. We talk about freedom, but most people are just slaves with subscriptions. Netflix, DoorDash, credit cards, everything on autoplay, even your attention. The empire didn't fall overnight. It fell the moment people stopped believing in work and started believing in worshiping comfort. When we traded sacrifice for convenience, truth for trends, and power for popularity. In 2025, America's got more millionaires than ever, and more people living paycheck to paycheck than at any point in history. That's not success. That's imbalance dressed up in designer clothes. We've got politicians printing money to buy votes, corporations buying houses that you can't afford, and influencers selling you a dream that they ain't never lived. This ain't capitalism anymore. This is casino economics. Rome didn't collapse because the barbarians was too strong. It collapsed because the Romans got soft. Too much comfort, too much greed, too much pretending. Sounds familiar? When TikTok millionaires start teaching business and politicians arguing over who gets to lie first, meanwhile the dollar's losing power and people are losing purpose. You can't call yourself the greatest nation on earth when the average citizen can't afford one bedroom apartment, when food costs rise faster than paychecks, when college leave you in chains of debt, when medical bills bury families alive, yet we keep smiling for the camera, posting live your best life while some of these people are drowning in debt. That's sickness of the empire. When perception replaces reality, when the illusion of wealth hides in the reality of weakness. Empires don't die in battle, they die in denial, and we are knee deep in it. We brag about GDP growth, but don't talk about mental health collapse. We celebrate the stock market highs, but ignore the record number of bankruptcies. We call it the land of opportunity, but most folks can't even afford the dream anymore. Here's the truth. They won't say this on CBNC, CNBC. America's not falling because of China or Russia or even aliens. It's falling because they stopped holding ourselves accountable. We became a nation of consumers, not creators, spectators, not soldiers, followers, no leaders. We lost the hunger that built this place. And when a nation loses hunger, it loses power. Now the government prints trillions like it's monopoly money. They call it stimulus. But what it really is a sedative. Every check they hand out is another pill to keep people quiet. They don't want you fighting. They want you scrolling, because a distracted empire is an easy one to control. And the whole time that you're scrolling, they're rewriting the rules, raising interest rates, locking down credit, buying up homes, and building digital prisons, invisible ones. Because once you depend on the system for everything, you'll never have the courage to walk away from it. That's how empires go broke. Not when the gold runs out, but when the people run out of belief. And belief is the one thing money can't buy back. But here's the catch. Here's the catch. The fall of an empire doesn't have to be your fault. You can rebuild your own nation right inside your mind, your home, your community. Start owning things again. Land, skills, time, discipline, because those are the new gold bars in this era of chaos. Don't wait for the empire to save you. They can't. They're too busy saving face. You gotta save yourself, because your freedom isn't given, it's built. And the new revolution won't be in the streets, it'll be in your habits. Legacy over luxury. While real power doesn't shine, it lasts. Check this out. In 1923, 7 of the world's richest men met at the Edgewater Hotel in Chicago. They control more money than the U.S. Treasury. But here's the part they don't teach you in school. Within 25 years, most of them either was broke, dead, or institutionalized. See, luxury fades, legacy endures. And most people spend their life chasing what shines instead of what survives. Everybody flexes online, but history only remembers builders. We post cars, they built companies. We show watches, they built timelines that still pay families today. Look at Reginald Lewis, the first black billionaire in America. He didn't go viral, he went visionary. He bought out Beatrice International Foods for $985 million in the 80s. A move that proved power isn't about what you drive, it's about what drives you. There's a West African proverb that says, the child who's not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel the warmth. That's what luxury is. Burning money to feel value. Legacy is the opposite. Building warmth that outlives you. See, psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill. You hear me? The more you chase pleasure, the faster it fades. But meaning compounds. Meaning outpaces dopamine. That's why the kings and queens move different. They plant trees that they'll never sit under. When Black Wall Street thrived in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, it wasn't luxury that made them powerful. It was ownership. Over 600 businesses, 21 churches, and a dozen schools built by strategy, not statue, family. Legacy is asset-based. Luxury is attention-based. One survives in silence. The other dies in trends. That's why wealth that starts loud usually ends quiet. And wealth that starts quiet becomes a dynasty. Here's what we do. If your name disappeared tomorrow, would your work still speak? If the internet shut down tonight, would your ideal still feed people? Legacy don't live in likes. It lives in your impact, the skills you pass down, the blueprints you leave behind. So every time you choose purpose over flexing, you just made a down payment. Luxury fades in the sunlight. Legacy glows in the dark. Drop a 100 if you're building something that your grandchildren will inherit, because real power don't glitter, it glows. But the true silence is the real strength. Your mind, your patience, your discipline. That's where wars are won before a single move is even made. You must understand that. Let's get into this right now. Like, subscribe, and share. This is one of those strategy sessions I want to give you that's going to make you a lot stronger. So, you like this type of content, tap in. But let me talk about the invisible field, and I'm gonna give you some notes at the end, so stay tuned right now. Check this out. It was a brother named Malik, right? Every time his boys was hitting the club, Malik was hitting the books. You see what I'm saying? He's locked in. They call him born. They say he was wasting his time. But what they didn't see was the war he was fighting in silence, family. Malik studied business. He learned digital marketing and started building online, not just in the books, no excuses. But 3 years later, the same friends that saw him doing all that saw him on a billboard. He didn't flex his journey, he mastered it. He moved like a shadow that was struck in lightning. And that's how kings move. They don't announce their every move. They prepare and they move with dominance. So you're saying to yourself, James Mack, how does that affect me? Check this out. This is a game of chess, not checkers, family. You have to move strategically on every single move. Like Sun Tzu said, appear where you are not expected. These are real moves. You know what I'm saying? The art of war wasn't about swords, it was about psychology. So you must have that psychology. You don't win by shouting out your goals, or I'm about to turn up this year, I'm about to do this. Family, you win by thinking outside of your enemies, being unpredictable, calm, focused. In a world full of exposure, secrecy is the new strength. That's cold right there. You ain't got nothing to prove to nobody, because real power speaks after the victory. So every scroll, every flex, look at me moment, it feeds the algorithm, right? But it starves your discipline. You can't build an empire by performing for approval. You gotta grind in silence, family. The reveal requires results. Now here's some action steps I want you to take. So go ahead and get a pen and paper. This is very important, because everything I'm telling you, we can watch all the nonsense, but this is real knowledge and real understanding. So grab a pencil. Let me give you a couple steps you can use. So here's how you win on your battlefield, family. Keep your vision sacred. Don't share every move. Stop sharing every move, every post. Protect your dreams like you protect your crown, family. You know what I mean? Number 2, move strategic. Study the game you're in. If construction, social media, whatever your business, your content, or your life itself, make sure you prepare. You know what I mean? Because that beats out performance every time. The third tip I got for you is strike with precision. When the time comes to act, don't hesitate. You feel me? When you show up, make sure it's unforgettable, right? Make sure when you show up, you showing up because you already prepared. You see what I'm saying? And you already did what you had to do. So now you come in and you're using the surprise as a tool. Remember this. You ain't gotta announce your greatness. Just build it, right? Let the work echo louder than your words. Because when you move with purpose, not noise, you become invisible until it's too late for them to stop you, baby. It's too late. They can't handle you. Stay focused, stay dangerous, right? In such a way, stay silent, because kings don't argue in the crown. They rule from the shadows, baby. The king is up top. This is motivation from the mind of the king. Everybody wants to be heard, but the loudest voice rarely wins. Power is not in what you say, but it's in what you don't say. Today, I'm going to show you why silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Welcome back to Mr. Mac Entertainment, where power meets perspective and learning how the art of still power separates kings from the rest. Listen, I want to tell you a quick story real quick. The story about a general in ancient times. He never shouted at his soldiers, never boasted of his plans. He moved in silence, observed his enemies, and waited. The battle was won before it even started. Now, the truth in life today, people reveal their intentions while you stay quiet. Opportunities expose themselves when your ego steps back. Every loud person you see is probably very insecure inside. Silence is like a shield. It protects your strategy while letting others show their hand. You must understand this to be very powerful. Let's get very practical with this. Stop over-explaining yourself. Stop proving your worth to the wrong crowd. Stop reacting on the noise of social media, family. Here's why. The more you talk, the more you give away. The more moves you expose your weaknesses. You expose your strategy. All of these things. The people who move quiet, they get the deals, the money, the influence, while everybody else is busy arguing or in the comments. Remember what I said in last season's lesson. Calm wins the battles. Silence isn't absence of noise. It's focused energy. It's listening more than speaking, observing more than acting, waiting for the right moment to strike. I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time you stayed silent in a situation and gained more understanding while you stayed silent instead of speaking? How often does your ego force you to react soon? They say being quiet is the hardest thing in life to do. Silence gives clarity. It gives perspective. It gives power, and power respects patience. Think of money, think of influence, even social dynamics. The quiet ones always end up ahead. You don't hear much from the biggest billionaires in the world. Financial empires are built by people who act methodology and not emotionally. Business, hustlers, investors, the loudest moves rarely win. The calculated silent moves dominate. You didn't know he bought all that land. Here's the challenge. This week, practice silence in one part of your life, your circle, your social media, or at work. Notice people reveal more than you thought. Notice the clarity starts to guide your decisions. Notice the power starts following you quietly, invisibly. I want you to drop a still power in the comments if you already master silence and move like a king, because I want you to remember, this is so very important. Please remember this. Silence isn't weak. Waiting isn't passive. Observing isn't hesitation. It's strategy. It's your armor. It's how winners win while everybody else is busy talking. Myth of motivation. Why discipline builds empires. Welcome to James Mac Entertainment, where the real wealth starts in the mind. Let's get right to it. Listen, a Harvard Business Review study found that 92% of people who set goals never achieve them, family. Not because they're lazy, but because they're waiting to feel it. That's the trap of motivation. It disappears the moment it stops being convenient. Empires aren't built off feeling. They're built off discipline, family. Motivation is like caffeine. caffeine, a temporary boost that tricks your brain into thinking it's progress. It's the pep talk before the pain, the playlist before the push. But when the music stops and the hype fades, only discipline shows up for work. That's why success always looks boring in real time, because discipline doesn't post, it produces. There's no story about a sculptor. Every day he chipped away at the same block of stone for years. One day, a traveler asks, "How did you carve each perfect statue?" He said, "I didn't carve him. He was always there. I just removed what didn't belong." That's what discipline is. Subtraction, not adding more motivation, but removing every excuse that blocks the greatness. Psychologists call it neural conditioning, the progress of teaching your brain to obey action over emotion. That's how elite soldiers, CEOs, athletes move, not hype, but habit. The average person quits their fitness goals before January 19th every year. Yet the top 1% of earners report over 80% consistency in their daily routine. That's not genetics, family. That's system. Discipline is automation, turning power into patterns. See, social media made motivation a trend, but billionaires made discipline a lifestyle. You can't scroll your way into success. You've got to schedule it. Come back with me. Think about the Roman Empire. They didn't dominate because they were the strongest. They won because they built systems that outlasted generations. In the same way, your financial empire would never come from a get-rich moment. It comes from the small, repetitive habits that compound over time. Warren Buffett once said, "The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken." So the real question is, are your habits holding you down or holding you up? You don't need motivation tomorrow. You need movement today. Pick one thing you'll do every day for the next 30 days, no matter how you feel, and watch how your discipline builds muscle memory. Drop a lock in the comment, man, if you're locking in on your focus this season, because motivation fades, but discipline, that's legacy, family. Let's get to it, building the architecture power. Check this out. Welcome to Mr. Mac Entertainment, where the real wealth starts in the mind. Check this out. The Great Pyramids of Giza has stood for over 4,500 years. It didn't survive because Pharaoh Khufu shouted the loudest. It survived because it was designed to last. Emperors, empires, wealth, influence, they don't rise overnight. They rise on structure, strategy, and game plans. Today we're building mental blueprints that's gonna last longer than fame. Check this out, family. Roads that still exist today. Aqueducts that carry water for centuries. Laws and government systems still studied in universities. Rome didn't conquer because it was the strongest. It conquered because it built infrastructure that multiplied influence over time. Your personal empire works the same way. Without a foundation, routines, habits, knowledge, your power is temporary, family. Check this out. I want you to understand something. Take Jeff Bezos. Amazon didn't dominate the e-commerce space because of luck. It dominated because of systematic design, supply chain, tech infrastructure, automation. Or look at the successful Black-owned businesses in history, from Madam C.J. Walker to Reginald Lewis. They didn't just chase sales. They created structures, systems, and succession plans that outdated them. Let me tell you something. Businesses with clear systems are 30% more likely to survive 10 years than ones without them. Structure, longevity, and chaos equals collapse. There was a West African proverb. It goes something like this: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Building structures isn't just physical or financial, it's mental. Your daily routine, networks, and decisions are the scaffolding of your legacy. Every unplanned action weakens it. Every repeated disciplined choice strengthens it. Your brain is a blueprint, family. Train it like an architect. Your habits are beams. Your decisions are pillars. Listen, here's your challenge. Audit your personal empire today. Ask yourself, what systems am I relying on? What routines strengthen my foundation? Where is chaos hiding in plain sight? Write down one structure you will create this week. A habit, a plan, a network, a financial system that multiplies your influence beyond your lifespan. Structures outlast trends. Systems outlast hype. Empires don't fall because of enemies. They fall because they were built without a blueprint. the price of peace, but they never told you about your freedoms. Mr. Mac Entertainment. In 2025, stress-related illnesses cost the U.S. economy over $300 billion a year. That's not war. That's not famine. That's people paying the price for peace that never learned to use it in the first place or keep it. See, peace isn't passive, it's expensive. And the world profits when you can't afford it. Check this out. There's a Japanese proverb that says, a man who conquers himself is greater than who conquers 1,000 men in battle. But today, we conquer distractions, not ourselves. Most folks wake up and hand over their peace to the algorithm before they even brush their teeth. The moment you pick up the phone, somebody's renting space in your head for free. Researchers from Harvard found that 47% of our waking hours are spent thinking about something other than what we're doing. That means almost half of your life is noise, not peace. And the industries, they profit off your attention. They know it. Every notification is a toll booth. Every argument is a transaction. They sell you distraction because focus don't pay the bills, family. See, what you must understand is in 1980, billionaires used to chase status. In 2025, they chase silence. Warren Buffett, he lives in the same Nebraska house he bought in 1958, worth only $652,000. Why? Because peace scales better than luxury. Peace is leverage, family. That's why every powerful person protects their calendar like a fortress, because they know time is the only currency that appreciates in silence. Check this out. Here's a simple formula to test your peace. Who disturbs your calm the most? Be honest. Who drains your focus the fastest? You know, when was the last time you said no without guilt? Answer that honestly, and you will see who's charging rent in your peace. Answer that honestly, and you will see who's charging you rent for your peace. In a world that profits from your chaos, staying calm is the ultimate rebellion. Check it out. So invest like the wealthy do, not just in stocks, not crypto, but in silence. The algorithm of the mind. This one hits on every level. Mental warfare, media manipulation, spiritual control, and the fight to free. Don't worry about none of that. Don't worry about none of that. We're gonna start the algorithm of the mind right now. They build it quiet, invisible, polite algorithm that you're not even into. You don't even feel it rewriting your soul. You thought you were choosing, but you were being chosen. Every scroll, every click, every for you was really against you. You see, the new chains don't clink, make noise, they don't shine, they don't ping, they don't vibrate, they light up on the screen, and they call it freedom. They don't need whips no more. They got dopamine. The algorithm studies you, learns your fears, your habits, your hunger, then feeds you just enough truth to keep you comfortable and just enough chaos to keep you coming back for more. That's not coincidence, that's control. And here's the sick part about it. They helped you build it. Every argument online, every like out of boredom, every time you scroll past your purpose to watch somebody else live their life, brick by brick by brick by digital brick, you've built your own mental prison. They call it content. I'm calling it conditioning. You think you're consuming, but you're actually being consumed, because the algorithm don't want your attention. That's what you must understand. It wants your identity, and y'all falling right in the trap. When you wake up, what's the first thing that you touch? Your purpose or your profile? See, they trained you to reach for your leash before you stretch your wings. That's psychological warfare dressed up as entertainment. Back in the day, they fought to own your body. Now they just fight to keep your focus, because whoever controls the focus controls the future. And the algorithm, it don't care if you succeed, it cares if you stay engaged. That's the most important thing. AI knows your next thoughts before you do. It predicts your fears, suggests your escapes, feeds your ideals. You think they're yours. It feeds you the ideals so you think they're yours, but they're not. They're engineered. Every meme, every trend, everything that says this is hot right now, it's the leash that's tightening around your neck. You think you're running the game, but the game is running you. They call it personalization, but what they really mean is persuasion. And now you got a generation that can't tell the difference between thinking and reacting. They feel smart because the feed agrees with them. But the real intelligence begins when something challenges you, not comforts you. The algorithm of the mind don't just live in your phone. It lives in your routine, in your excuses, in the story you keep telling yourself about why you can't change. The voice that says, I'll start tomorrow. That's the oldest algorithm in history, procrastination. You want to break it? You got to untrain your brain. Start questioning everything. Stop scrolling for validation. Start searching for the truth. They gave you tools to build an empire, but most of y'all just want to build illusions. Don't get it twisted. I'm not anti-tech. I'm anti-tame. I believe in using machines, not becoming one. If AI can write your thoughts, can automate your art, can mimic your voice, then what's left for you? You can't outsource purpose. You can't download discipline, and you can't stream the struggle that makes you strong. That's the human algorithm. Pain, persistence, purpose. No code can replicate that. The algorithm of the mind is every voice that tells you, stay average, stay safe, stay comfortable. But your spirit wasn't built for that. You're not made of data. You're made of divinity. And divinity doesn't follow trends at all. See, I've seen men lose themselves, chasing approval, turn into somebody totally different. I've seen women dim their fire for likes. I've seen entire generations mistake visibility for value. But listen close. You don't need validation when you carry vision. Every empire starts with somebody saying, I'll think for myself. I don't need food stamps. That's a rebellion. That's revolution. That's unplugging. When you stop letting the algorithm dictate for you your worth, you start writing a new code. You own the code. So tonight, before you open your feed up, ask yourself, is this feeding me or is it feeding off me? Because every scroll is a vote for the world that you want to live in. The algorithm of the mind ain't unbeatable. It's just lazy belief. Once you wake up, it loses power. So break the pattern, reprogram your spirit, feed your focus, starve them fears, and stop making noise for knowledge. Check this out. Everybody wants to be the boss. You understand me? Until the crown gets heavy, right? They talk about power like it's perfume or cologne or something to spray on you and smell important. You feel me? But real power, that's pressure. That's weight. And some of y'all sitting on glass thrones right now, wondering why every time you move, you hear a crack. But check this out, family. See, the throne look good in the light. It's shiny, spotless, clear, but it can't handle the truth. That's the thing. It breaks in the moment ego gets loud. You must understand that. As soon as it get loud, the glass throne breaks, family. On these streets, I seen kings fall because they couldn't take correction. Homies turning enemies because they couldn't take reflection. One word of honesty felt like disrespect, family. So they shattered the foundation. You know, you can't pour pride inside of a glass seat. You can't hold it, man. You can't pour pride inside of a glass seat. You can't hold it. Everybody loves being admired in this game, right? Everybody loves to be admired in this game. Nobody wants to be accountable, you understand me, for those actions. You feel me? They post the crown, right? But they hide the cracks, family. You see what I'm saying? But leadership without humility, that's a window, not a wall. You feel me? It looks solid until somebody leans on it. But here's the most important part. Just wait. Here's the most important part of this right here. I remember a dude, everybody used to talk about him, and he called himself Chief, right? Money loud, music loud, followers even louder, but he couldn't take advice from anyone. He thought that correction was competition. So when the storm came, his empire looked strong on the ground, but it was made of glass. In real life, one hit, gone. You feel me? A lot of you are living like that. And that's what happens when you built on glass, right? And ego instead of ethics, baby. You must understand that. You can't lead people in your mirror. You can't lead people if your mirror's still dirty. You can't teach strength if correction breaks you, because the glass throne don't cut when it shatters. it cuts everybody that believed in you. The glass throne don't just cut you when it's shattered. It cuts everybody that believed in you. Everybody around you is gonna cut. Real power don't flex. It focuses. It don't boast. It builds. It don't say, look at me over here. It says, follow the mission. Follow the mission. Malcolm X once said, and I love this saying, don't be in such a hurry to condemn a man because he don't do what you do. You may be a millionaire. You may be 100,000-aire. But the translation of what that statement is, Malcolm X said back in the day, is humility is armor. Without it, you bleed arrogance. You ever wonder why some of the loudest leaders fall the hardest? I don't gotta say no names. Because sound don't mean structure. Noise do not mean knowledge. They talk heavy, family, but walk hollow. Let me talk to the young kings for a second. You think leadership means control? Leadership means service, family. It means doing what's right when nobody's clapping, when nobody's hitting the like button. It means building truth sturdy enough that even when your haters understand it, they gotta respect you. You can't fake foundation because sooner or later, truth tests everybody's throne. Everybody's throne is going to get tested. And here's the real parable. Glass don't break because of pressure alone. It breaks because imperfections inside of it, baby. You must understand it. That's pride, the imperfections inside of it. That's fear. That's the part of you that refuses to grow. So if you want to stay on that throne, you better fix what's inside because the outside world is going to expose you. You better believe that the outside world is coming to expose you. But if you strong, baby, if you strong, I'm not here to tear down your confidence. That's not what I'm doing. I'm here to separate it from arrogance. Confidence stands tall. Arrogance stands over people, right? Confidence earns loyalty. You feel me? You're gonna be loyal. Arrogance buys followers. Remember that. One lasts and one don't. Always remember that. One lasts but one don't. So you can't demand respect. You can't do it. You gotta deserve it. And you don't deserve it by being perfect. You deserve it by being honest, family. You deserve it by being honest. Honest enough to say, messed up. Honest enough to learn is not just a lecture. Honest enough to rebuild when life swing at your throne. Heavy, right? Because leadership ain't about sitting high. It's not about sitting high. And a lot of people think that. It's about staying grounded while you're high. Family, I've seen men get success and forget the soil they came from. But when you forget the soil, remember you also forget how to plant, baby. You forget how to plant. Then your kingdom starves. Please remember that. And you still smiling for the cameras. You see what I'm saying? Don't be like that. Rise above that. See, if you really a king that you claim to be, build with transparency, build with truth, build with patience. Don't be scared to get corrected. Only weak rulers silence their counsel, right? Strong ones study their critics. Because a lot of them is not moving how you moving. Because even a hater will tell the truth once in a while. And wisdom don't care about who mouth it comes from. Understand that. Wisdom don't care about who mouth it comes from. Look, we all break sometime, baby. We all break sometime. But if you real, you rebuild with better material next time. It's all right. You learn, you listen, you level up. That's how a glass throne turns into steel. You understand? That's how it happens. It's no secret to it. Now I'm gonna tell you, I want you to take this before I get up off this little thing and hear me out on this. So ask yourself, is your kingdom built for looks or for life? You wanna be adored or effective? You want applause or you want authority? Because the spotlight don't save you when those cracks appear. Only your character does. That's it. Only your character. Believe that. Digital currency. That's a very important thing going on right now. So get ready to tap in. Listen, they told you the future was digital. They told you the paper was dying and the chip was rising. That's what you're not understanding. They told you, don't worry. This is for your safety. This is for your speed, your convenience. But every time they sell you convenience, are they really selling control? You see, back in the day, they controlled you through your job, through your taxes, through your credit score. Now they control you through transactions. You post the wrong thing, your account can freeze. You speak too loud, the payments get flagged. You step out of line, the system simply turns you off, playboy. You don't need a prison when you can program obedience. They call it central bank digital currency. Sounds clean, right? But don't let that name fool you. That's not money. That's a leash. Paper cash don't ask questions, man. You hand it and get what you paid for. Freedom, transaction complete. But digital money, it's a mirror. Watches, remembers everything you do. One day soon, it'll decide what you're allowed to buy. They can dress it up in language like innovation, modernization, but this ain't progress. This is programming. They tell you the blockchain is transparent, but transparent for who? Because I don't see the public accountants. It ain't transparency, it's surveillance with a better marketing strategy. Let me break it down to you plain. When your money becomes data and your freedom becomes conditional, you'll wake up one day and realize you don't own your access. You will need permission to spend your own bread. And when that happens, it's over. That's not the future. That's digital slavery. Now listen, I'm not saying technology is the enemy. I never said that. I'm not saying the hands that hold it are, because power don't ever invent something that it can't eventually control. The same banks that call it or say crypto is dangerous, now they got crypto divisions. The governments that say it was risky, now they're building their own code. They don't destroy rebellion, they buy it. They want you cashless, trackable, predictable. They say it's for your security, but what they really mean is they really want to know where you go, what you eat, who you think about, and what you stand for. That ain't safety, that's submission. And if you think I'm lying, ask yourself, every financial innovation always seems to make the rich richer and the rest of y'all poor. Every single time. They call it progress, I call it polished change. But guess what? You know, I want you to just understand this. Give me one more second. When they push digital ID, when your wallet, your credit, your healthcare all merged on one app, they don't need guns anymore. They got algorithm. The revolution won't be televised. They told you that already. It'll be shadow banned. The new rebellion won't be fought with fists, playboy. It'll be fought with financial independence. You want to fight back? Own something they can't delete. Gold, land, skills, a brand with your name on it. Something real, something tangible. Because one day soon, the system's going to test you. It's going to test you. It's going to say, agree with this policy or lose privileges. Take this card or lose your paycheck. Say the wrong thing, lose your access. And when that moment comes, you'll find out whether you've been chasing convenience or building freedom. So no, I'm not anti-tech. I'm pro-truth. I'm pro-control. Your control. Because when your money ain't yours, your life isn't either. They can program it, pause it, limit it, expire it. And once you lose the right to transact, you lose the right to live free. That's why they call it currency, because it flows. And if you can't stop the flow, they control your current. They control your future. Everybody want to win till they realize the door to winning don't got no welcome mat. The door is not gold plated. It's rusty, chained, it's guarded by failure, fear, fake friends that smile while you starve. You realize the door's locked right, locked with everything you need and everything you need to get ready for. They don't give you the key, king. They hide it in your pain. They hide it in the nights you couldn't sleep. They hide it in the people that turned their back on you, because the only ones who deserve to open that door are the ones who built their strength in the dark. You can't finesse your way through it. You can't dance your way around it. You can't pray it open and you're lazy. You gotta kick that bitch open. See, the things they told you, like wait till it's your turn, that's a trap. There ain't no turn for people like us. They built the system to keep us waiting, because waiting keeps you weak. They call it patience, but it's really paralysis. While you wait, they build. While you pray, they plot. While you sleep, they scheme. And by the time you wake up, playboy, your spot's gone. Every man got a locked door. Some of you standing in front of it right now. Job you hate, neighborhood that feel like a trap, dream that keeps slipping through your fingers. You feel it, right? The pressure that's on your chest that's supposed to be, or you know you're supposed to be somewhere else. That's the door that keeps calling. But the problem is you keep waiting for permission to open it. Ain't nobody gonna hand you the key, bro. Ain't nobody coming to save you. Ain't no savior with no blue check mark. Ain't no next big break. You are the break. The truth is, the door's locked because you too soft to walk through it. You think you're ready because you're hungry, but hunger without discipline is just desperation. Everybody wants the throne till they realize the crown cuts your scalp when it ain't built for pressure. The door ain't blocking, it's testing you, it's asking you, are you real? Or are you just performing for views? The ones who made it, the greats, they bled for it. They sacrificed for it. Sleep, fake friends, fake peace. They became wolves in a world full of sheep. Because if that door don't open, you can't sit there crying. You have to become the storm that breaks through it. And let me tell you something about storms. They don't ask for permission. They don't knock politely. They destroy everything in the path that's trying to hold them back. So life's been closing doors on you lately? Good. That means it's scared of you. That means you're close, because the system don't want to waste locks on people that ain't a threat. The locked door ain't your enemy, playboy. It's your initiation. Every failure, every betrayal, every time you almost made it, each scar is shaping the key to the lock of that door. Every night you cried quietly because nobody knew the grind. Every time you counted on someone or they counted you out, those are the teeth on the key. You don't buy that kind of sex. You gotta sweat it, earn it in blood. And when you finally step through that door, you're gonna realize something heavy. You never needed the door. You were the whole damn building. The door was just an illusion they built to see if you would really give up before you find out who you really are. So to every man watching this, to every woman watching this, to every person grinding in silence, to every soul that's tired but refuses to quit, stop begging, stop knocking, stop waiting for validation. Burn the whole frame down if you want to. Kick the hinges, crack the code, build a new door if you must. Just don't sit outside of it, because when you finally walk through, you realize why it took so long. You realize why you had to lose them. Why the people who doubted you couldn't come through that door. Why God went silent while you were screaming. He was ignoring you. He was molding you. You were becoming the key. So when that moment comes, when the lock clicks, when you step through, don't celebrate. Guard that room like your life depends on it, because it does. And remember, they gonna come knocking next. The same ones who laughed, the same ones who doubted, they're going to want a seat at the table. But that's when you smile and say, the room built it, the door broke it. This life, I earned it. Let's get into something else. I want to talk about them chains, the parable of chains. Them chains around your neck, them chains around your brain. You feel me? That's what we're going through right now. People are locked up mentally because of the social media and things like that. And I just really wanted to exploit that right now. Take a second and bring attention to that, because you don't have to be in jail to be in prison. A lot of people is in prison in their mind right now, and that's really unfortunate. So, I wanted to do this, like, subscribe, and share, and get ready for this new content we're bringing, because we want to bring value to the channel. Check it out. Everybody, they want to be free. Everybody want to be free, but most folks don't even know what freedom feels like. That's what you have to understand. You could be right out here and be able to go to the store and get you a soda and a bag of chips, but that's not true freedom. You know what I mean? We grew up saying, I got money. I got out the system, you feel me? I made it, you know what I mean? But what happens is when you make it and you realize you're still in somebody's cage, it just got better furniture, you feel me? You still in the cage, it just got bigger and better furniture. See, they took the chains off your wrist, the orange chains off your wrist, and gave you the silver, gold, diamond one. You feel me? Shinier, heavier, smoother to the touch. They look real fancy now, them chains. They look real fancy, and I'm a jeweler, but they look real nice right now, but they still chains. That's what you have to remember. They still chains, man. Let me explain something to you, family. I want you to take a real close listen to this. They don't need to beat you with whips no more. They beat you with distractions. You feel me? They don't lock your body up unless you done something. They lock up your attention. You feel me? You locked up in your mind, in your attention. They don't silence you. They don't do that no more. They don't silence you. They just keep you entertained enough. Never ask a question. Why are you so quiet inside? That's deep. I want you to think about that. You quiet. You're not making no noise. All the noise you're making is inside of you through this social media. You think you're free because you got a car note, you got a mortgage, you got a job with a title. You ain't free, my brother, my sister. You're not free. You just got upgraded chains, and you see her walking around with them all the time. I took my chains off for this particular video. You got Wi-Fi, not wings. Comfort, not control. They got you bragging about your cage because it's cleaner than someone else's. You feel me? Think about that. That's the new hustle. You know, keep you busy chasing more. I got the biggest Lambo. I got the biggest yacht. I got the biggest this, that, and whatever. But you never ask who owns it all, right? Because no matter where you get, it's always somebody that's bigger and better than you. And you must understand that, yeah, we're rats or hamsters on a wheel around here, some of y'all. You know, I've seen people call themselves kings, but they can't move without permission, baby. They can't post without approval. You know what I mean? They can't think without trending topics telling them what to care about. Think about that. You know what I mean? You're only doing it because of the algorithm. I'm going against the algorithm personally. That ain't freedom. That's slavery with filters. They just switched the whip for the Wi-Fi, baby. You understand? That's all they did. The overseer for an algorithm. And you out here scrolling yourself into silence. You feel me? You ain't hearing nothing from you because you so stuck, paralyzed on that phone, on that computer. Let me tell you something. A silver chain hurts worse than an iron one. You know those ones they bring us over here in? Those is iron chains. Because at least when it's iron, you know you a prisoner. You feel me? You know you locked up when you got them iron ones on. When it's silver, platinum, gold, you call it success. You feel me? You define or defend your cage. You brag about your collar. You even fight your brother just to prove your chain shines brighter. And we see that all the time where these celebrities going against each other grew up in the same household because one gets some money. Now they done switched up. They told you to chase luxury. We all like nice things. Don't get me wrong, but you attract it. You don't chase it. But you know what I'm saying? You have to understand that luxury without liberty, you have to understand that luxury without liberty is slavery in satin sheets. That's too real. They told you to chase visibility. You must be seen. You got to be out here. But visibility without power is just exposure. You just been seen, and exposure burns. You know how I feel in those comments. You know how I feel in those comment sections. They told you chase opportunity, but opportunity from your oppressor ain't empowerment. It's endorsement. You an influencer. You don't have no real power. You ain't the one created the products or the platform. You just somebody that is an ambassador. You think you got you think they care about fear and anger? Nah, they don't. They fear your awareness. That's why you see they cut videos off that's aware, got awareness in them. You think they fear your independence? You think they fear your discipline? Nah, because once a man knows who he is, you can't sell him silver chains anymore. He'll melt them down and build weapons of metal. You feel me? And that's beyond the actual metal, baby. That's talking about bringing knowledge, understanding, and truth across these streams. Because Malcolm X once said, you can't separate peace from freedom. You feel me? Once you get that real freedom, then you got that real peace. And that's the truth, right? You can't reset and rest if you ain't free. You feel me? If you ain't free, ain't no rest out here, baby. What we've done is made peace with our prisons. You know, we decorated our cages. You feel me? Y'all decorated your cages. We turned down captivity and made it a culture. You know, we made captivity a culture. We're out here bragging about what we bought, but never talk about what we built. A lot of us, a lot of y'all. We post the highlights of survival and call it prosperity. Man, we talking about people that got $500-600 million. You posting a car and some shoes. I ain't here to shame you, baby. I'm here to wake you. You understand? I want you to wake up because we're better than this. We're going into a new level of understanding where robots are going to be running things. Because I get it. I understand it. And I want you to understand it. We've been programmed since birth to believe that validation equals value. That approval equals arrival. You got there. Now you validated. But when your work depends on a paycheck, on an applause, on attention, you ain't free. You a performer. Or like a lady once told me, you a poser. And the stage might look good, y'all. This lens right here look good. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all lenses look good. But the curtain will fall one day for a lot of you all. And when it does, what are you gonna look like behind here? When that camera flip around, how does it look where you living? The enemy ain't the system. That's not the enemy. It's the content it gives you, right? They created the system, but it's the content that you're making that's the enemy. It teaches you to stop fighting, to stop questioning, to stop evolving, right? But have you ever noticed that the system always rewards the obedient? How it really silences thinkers, how it praises the quiet worker, but backlists the bold ones? We talked a lot about a lot of political issues, and they got blackballed. That's because silver chains are better under the spotlight. You can't tell if they gold or plat or if it's the truth for real. You can't believe nothing for the most part these days. They don't want you free, family. They want you functional. And that's what we see with these dead-end jobs. Enough success feels good. And that's all they want you to do is to feel good, but not enough to become dangerous. See, when you doing things like Elon Musk, you dangerous. They want you consuming, not creating, following, not leading, arguing, not organizing. They want you doing pranks, and these type of things. And the whole time, family, you think you're winning, and it looks like a lot of you are winning. You think you arrived, you think you made it there, but your freedom has a fine print, and you must understand that. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. Let me share this with you, family, and just hold on for a second for this. This is powerful. Real power ain't loud. I say that all the time on this channel. Real power is not loud. It's quiet. It's ownership. You don't hear the owners of these teams going through things with their stuff all in the news. You don't hear that because they're the owners. It's sovereignty. They don't have to wait on no man. They do what they want to do. It's saying, I answer to me. A lot of people think they made it, but they're still answering to other people. I like what Dame Dash be saying about that. You can't buy that. You got to become that, family. That means discipline. That means sacrifice. And I'm not talking about your family and things of that nature. That means building something that doesn't need permission to exist. You got to bring something to this world, to this life, to this table, and they should not be able to take it away from you. You feel me? Understand that, because you're so powerful. So if you ask you, and I ask you, what is your freedom worth? And how much does your peace cost? Because a lot of y'all it's not even working for peace. How much control did you sell just to feel safe in your space with your phone? I know this is deep, but you got to understand this. If your paycheck owns your soul, you still got chains on, family. And I ain't talking about the ones for fashion. If your validation comes from strangers, you still got chains. If your mind ain't yours, then neither is your future. You must understand that. Keep that in mind, because the future is coming, and it's going to be fast, and it's going to be quick. We don't need another protest sign. What is that going to do? We need private property. You feel me? Understand that. We don't need another hashtag. We need habits. We don't need another influencer, especially the goofy and silly ones. We need investors. Big difference. Big difference. We need to invest properly. If you're not investing right now, what are you doing? Silver chains or sovereignty, you can wear them both, family. So break them, Silver chains and sovereignty, you can't wear them both. So break them piece by piece, habit by habit, fear by fear. I want you to go ahead and take time and just hear me out real fast. I mean, I'm gonna close this little video up, but I want to tell you this one last thing, because this is very important. Because freedom don't come with comfort. It comes with courage. You got to understand that it comes with courage, not comfort. And if they ever offer you a deal, family, that costs you your voice, your vision, your values, remember this: no matter how bright it shines, a chain is still a chain. The ones back from slavery or the ones right now over rappers' necks, it's still a chain, baby.